This is the story of Jehu, a man called by God to bring justice to a land gripped by corruption. His name would be etched in history as a fearless avenger, but his journey was filled with challenges, decisions, and a legacy that serves as a lesson for us all. It began in the kingdom of Israel, where King Ahab and Queen Jezebel ruled. They weren't just rulers, they were infamous for their wickedness. They had led the nation into idolatry, turning the people away from God to worship Baal, a false god. Worse still, they used their power to oppress, murder, and silence anyone who stood in their way. God had seen enough. He decided it was time to bring justice, and for this, he chose Jehu, a commander in Israel's army, known for his strength and determination. One day, a prophet sent by Elisha, God's messenger, came to find Jehu. The prophet's arrival was abrupt, and his purpose was urgent. Without much explanation, he asked to speak with Jehu in private. Jehu, intrigued and cautious, followed him into another room. There the prophet poured oil over Jehu's head, a symbolic act, and delivered a message straight from God. He declared that Jehu was now king of Israel and had been chosen for a specific mission, to destroy Ahab's family and cleanse Israel of their evil influence. This was no small task. Ahab's family was powerful, entrenched, and dangerous. Jehu, however, didn't flinch. He understood the weight of this mission and the divine authority behind it. Jehu wasted no time. He gathered his men and rode straight to Jezreel, where Jezebel and the remaining members of Ahab's family were staying. His urgency was unmistakable. As he approached the city, the watchman stationed on the wall spotted his chariot. The man leaned forward and exclaimed, "There's a rider coming. His driving is furious. It must be Jehu." 2 messengers were sent out to meet Jehu, one after the other, asking if he came in peace. But Jehu's response was sharp and resolute. "What do you have to do with peace? Fall in behind me." The messengers joined his charge, realizing there was no stopping him. Inside the city, Jezebel, ever defiant, painted her eyes and adorned herself. Perhaps she hoped to intimidate or charm Jehu, but he wasn't swayed. As he entered the gates, she called out mockingly, questioning his loyalty and motives. Jehu, however, didn't even engage her directly. Instead, he looked up and called out to those around her, the eunuchs who served her. "Who is on my side?" he asked. 2 of Jezebel's servants stepped forward, glancing at one another. At Jehu's command, they threw her from the window. Jezebel fell to her death, and with her, the reign of terror she and Ahab had brought to Israel was ended. But Jehu's mission wasn't over. He systematically destroyed the rest of Ahab's family, fulfilling the prophecy given to Elijah years before. He then turned his attention to the worship of Baal. Under his orders, all the priests and followers of Baal were lured into a trap and eliminated. The temples of Baal were destroyed, and Israel was purged of this false worship. Jehu had done what no one else dared to do. He confronted evil head-on and brought justice to a corrupt land. Jehu's story is one of boldness and obedience, but it's also a cautionary tale. Though he accomplished his mission with zeal, he failed to fully follow God's ways in the years that followed. He allowed some of Israel's old sins to persist, and his legacy, though marked by justice, was incomplete. This story reminds us that answering a call to action is important, but staying faithful to the end is just as critical. Jehu showed us the power of obedience, but he also showed us the cost of complacency. So, what can we learn from Jehu? Courage and determination are vital, but true success comes from unwavering faithfulness to God. His story challenges us to not just start strong, but to finish well. If you're inspired by this story, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.